I like to read books. 200 important English sentences to tell about your liking. You can follow this structure. I like to plus V1 plus remaining. I like to play football. I like to dance. I like to travel. I like to listen to music. I like to play the guitar. I like to read books. I like to write stories. I like to draw pictures. I like to eat healthy food. I like to clean my house. I like to watch movies. I like to help others. I like to sing. I like to read magazines. I like to explore new places. I like to exercise. I like to practice yoga. I like to meditate. I like to watch the sunset. I like to paint. I like to learn languages. I like to go to the gym. I like to play the piano. I like to fly kites. I like to take pictures. I like to drink coffee. I like to learn about space. I like to surf the internet. I like to watch YouTube videos. I like to study science. I like to ride horses. I like to visit zoos. I like to swim in lakes. I like to practice karate. I like to design websites. I like to collect stamps. I like to collect coins. I like to solve puzzles. I like to visit museums. I like to go swimming. I like to ride my bike. I like to play video games. I like to garden. I like to go to the beach. I like to volunteer. I like to do experiments. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to eat ice cream. I like to stargaze. I like to go on picnics. I like to try new foods. I like to eat pizza. I like to watch animals. I like to do research. I like to sew clothes. I like to watch sports. I like to talk to people. I like to study history. I like to ride roller coasters. I like to go on road trips. I like to relax at home. I like to play basketball. I like to play cricket. I like to hike in the mountains. I like to visit friends. I like to write poetry. I like to play with my cat. I like to drink tea. I like to walk in the park. I like to repair cars. I like to watch documentaries. I like to visit bookstores. I like to read biographies. I like to make pottery. I like to fix things. I like to visit gardens. I like to write letters. I like to do magic tricks. I like to feed the birds. I like to write songs. I like to play the violin. I like to play the drums. I like to attend festivals. I like to watch TV shows. I like to cook with friends. I like to try new recipes. I like to grow vegetables. I like to fly drones. I like to decorate my house. I like to collect antiques. I like to go to the library. I like to write in my journal. I like to study geography. I like to explore caves. I like to do crossword puzzles. I like to play tennis. I like to learn about animals. I like to play with clay. I like to bake bread. I like to practice archery. I like to read comics. I like to study philosophy. I like to create animations. I like to visit art galleries. I like to attend concerts. I like to read the newspaper. I like to study mathematics. I like to play with my dog. I like to play chess. I like to collect shells. I like to do photography. I like to visit theme parks. I like to take naps. I like to draw cartoons. I like to go on safaris. I like to take yoga classes. I like to play the trumpet. I like to swim in the ocean. I like to grow flowers. I like to play with children. I like to visit botanical gardens. I like to write short stories. I like to watch the news. I like to watch stand-up comedy. I like to design posters. I like to play the flute. I like to participate in parades. I like to write travel guides. I like to make travel vlogs. I like to visit monuments. I like to collect autographs. I like to feed the fish. I like to plant trees. I like to study chemistry. I like to meet new people. I like to learn sign language. I like to write scripts. I like to read poetry. I like to make candles. I like to do science experiments. I like to write blogs. I like to read science fiction. I like to visit historical sites. I like to visit observatories. I like to study biology. I like to listen to classical music. I like to watch fashion shows. I like to collect rare books. I like to write movie reviews. I like to learn video editing. I like to create infographics. I like to write children's books. I like to watch documentaries on wildlife. I like to watch old movies. I like to take photographs of nature. I like to visit libraries. I like to participate in contests. I like to decorate my garden. I like to attend workshops. I like to feed ducks. I like to write essays. I like to collect comic books. I like to work on group projects. I like to write book reviews. I like to solve riddles. I like to go on adventures. I like to design clothes. I like to visit temples. I like to study languages. I like to go on cruises. I like to watch cooking shows. I like to fix broken items. I like to attend seminars. I like to learn origami. I like to take part in debates. I like to donate books. I like to participate in marathons. I like to donate clothes. I like to listen to audiobooks. I like to design logos. I like to visit ancient temples. I like to read autobiographies. I like to create animated videos. I like to watch magic shows. I like to learn new instruments. I like to walk in the rain. I like to learn about robotics. I like to record podcasts. I like to play online games. I like to donate toys. I like to walk along the beach. I like to visit amusement parks. I like to make dolls. I like to organize events. I like to study psychology. I like to paint on canvas. I like to write in my diary. I like to make greeting cards. I like to decorate my home. I like to read fantasy novels.